Have you ever wondered if a vast empire could collapse due to lack of money? When you think about why Rome collapsed, most people imagine barbarians, betrayals, and poisoned emperors. But the truth is actually a bit more boring, and also a bit more frightening, because empires often don't disappear from outside attacks. They disappear by rotting from the inside, and at the center of that decay, there is actually money. Rome didn't collapse only because of wars. It collapsed because its money ran out. And the interesting part is, this didn't only happen to Rome. We can say it's still true even today. For a long time, Rome's money was very secure. There was a silver coin called the denarius. Soldiers were paid with it, merchants wanted it, and people saved their money with it. So money wasn't just a piece of metal, it was people's trust. But running an entire empire was not cheap. Money had to go to the army, roads had to be built, wars had to be financed. After a while, the money in the state treasury was no longer enough. Raising taxes makes people angry and causes rebellions. So instead, they chose an even more simple way. They started reducing the amount of silver inside the coins. At first, most people didn't notice, but over time, people started to realize this. The coin could look the same, but it was no longer as valuable as before. Things that used to be bought with one coin suddenly started to cost 10 coins, so in short, inflation exploded. Soldiers started saying, our pay isn't enough. Merchants started saying, I won't take this money, and went back to bartering. People couldn't afford to shop anymore, so what did the state do in this situation? They thought, if we print more money, maybe the problem can be solved. But in reality, this was like pouring gasoline on a fire. The more money was printed, the more worthless it became. After that, things completely went out of control. Emperors were overthrown one after another. Plagues happened. Civil wars increased. No one felt safe about the future anymore. So this time the state said, let's fix the prices. They made laws saying, this product cannot be sold for more than this price. They even threatened to execute those who broke the laws. But if money has no value, writing prices on paper has no meaning either. The black market exploded and official trade collapsed. In the end, Rome threw this money away and introduced a new gold coin. But for Western Rome, it was already too late. The economy had collapsed, the army had weakened, and trust had collapsed. So Rome didn't fall in a single day, actually. It slowly melted away. And at the center of that melting was money. Now, let's come to today. Rome thought it could fool people with money that looked the same, but was empty inside. And if we look at today, governments print money to cover debts, play with interest rates, and push the burden onto the public through inflation. And the result doesn't change. Ordinary people always pay the price. People like you, me, us. In Germany in the 1920s, people carried their wages in wheelbarrows. In Zimbabwe, prices were doubling every day. So what was everyone's common point? It was the loss of trust in money. Today we don't carry money in wheelbarrows, but we can see prices in the supermarket rising a lot every month. It looks like salaries are increasing, but purchasing power keeps going down. The paper is the same, the numbers are the same, but the inside is slowly being emptied. Governments call this growth, investment, success. But for most people, the truth is this: we work more and earn less. So Rome's story is not just a history lesson. This is a warning about today. This is important to know. Inflation is not an accident. It is a policy. And real wealth does not only sit in money. It exists in skills, land, work, and production. And the most dangerous part is this. People always think this won't happen to us. Romans thought that. Germans thought that. Zimbabweans thought that. But what happened? We can understand this. When money collapses, it's not only the economy that collapses. Society collapses too. Trade stops, contracts lose their meaning, and the power of the state disappears. So maybe the barbarians at the gate deliver the final blow. But the real plague starts much earlier, inside the treasury. In short, history may not repeat itself exactly, but the lesson is always the same. If you play with money, society pays the price. The hidden ledger, where history, money, and power quietly intersect.